Hi friends, thanks so much for joining me today. So I am Maria Robinson, for those of you that are new and to my channel, and I appreciate you stopping by to see what I have to show you today. So today is going to be a really fun card. It's actually a pinwheel card. Now you may have seen these online. I know I've seen them many times. And if you're like me, you were probably intimidated and said, oh my goodness, that is way too hard. I can't do that. Well, I'm going to change your mind about that. After watching Connie Stewart and her daughter, Christina, make it a few weeks ago, I was like, okay, I think I could do this. I think I can. So let's get that camera turned down and I'll show you how easy it is. So before I get started, there is a fantastic opportunity with Stampin' Up! When you join my team, you get the brand new Stampin' Positioner for free. That's a $49 value, and it could be yours just for joining my team, which the starter kit is $99. Now, don't let that starter kit scare you. You don't have to do what I do unless you want to. You can sell to your, to your friends, or you can be like I used to be, my own best customer, and sometimes I still am. So anyway, if you'd like to join my team, I'd love to have you. We have a wonderful community here, and I'd bet you'd be a perfect fit for it. So here's some information for you, and I'm going to leave this out for just a minute so that if you'd like, you can take a screenshot of it, or you can scan either QR code and it brings you right to the Join My Team link. So there you go. All right, so as I mentioned, we are going to be doing a fun fold pinwheel card. So let me move this out of the way. Hopefully you've gotten that. I'll show it at the end as well. So check this out. How fun is that? This folds flat. I don't know which is, I guess this is the front of the card, right? This folds flat, so it fits into an A2 size envelope. So it's, when you're finished with it, it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. How cool is that? And then you open it up and then you can just keep going around. Now, there's so many options with this. I kept it pretty basic. I've got some designer series paper, then I did some stamping and little sentiment here. No die cuts, which is fantastic. You don't have to use them. You can if you'd like, though. So we're going to do this now. I'm going to put that right there so I can see it for easy reference. Okay, so we're going to leave that there. One stamp set. That's all I'm using today. You are remarkable. I've been using this quite a bit lately. I really love it. I love the sentiments, and I love the fact that this is actually two-step stamping. So what is two-step stamping? Two-step stamping is when you have your detailed stamp, and then to fill in, you have these solid images. So you've got the daisy, and then you've got the leaves, and you've also got the center. Keep in mind, you don't have to do it that way. You can color them in using your blends or your watercolor pencils, which is what I'm going to do. I will use my watercolor pencils. On my sample, I did it both ways. This was done with the watercolor pencils, and then I actually highlighted it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's, I did put some Wink of Stella on that just to give it a little shine. So that might pick it up right there. So this one I did with the watercolor pencils. And this one here, I did by stamping with the stamps. I used the two-step part. So either way works, or you can leave it blank. And then this part here was actually the leaves and then those little dots. So how fun is that? Anyway, one stamp set. I love that when I do that. All right, so my parts and pieces, there are quite a few parts and pieces for this, but as I mentioned, it's easy. So I do have it already scored, and the scoring is pretty easy on this one piece. But as usual, I will not give you the measurements because half the time I forget, and then I'll probably give you the wrong thing because I don't have them written down. So when you receive my newsletter tomorrow, you will get that information. All right, so I'm just folding these all inward because we want to create a little box. So this little piece here is going to go right there, and we're just going to seal that up, and then that's the box. And believe it or not, this is what's going to hold all those little flaps. So let me get some adhesive. I just want to make sure that this lines up good. Okay, it does. I'm going to give it one more press right there. Okay, so let's put this down. Now, I did change up a couple of the measurements from what Connie showed. but it works out the same. If you're interested in seeing hers, please head to Simply Simple Stamping, I think is her website. But if you've been around Stampin' Up quite a bit, I'm sure you know exactly who Connie is. She has been around for quite a while. I remember her from my early days when I was doing scrapbooking. I used to follow her. So how funny that then, you know, I joined Stampin' Up, right? Anyway, I think that's funny. Okay, so that's that part. Now, this is the part where it gets a little bit fussy, but we're going to do it, okay? So let's start by putting these pieces on. And basically, you want to keep adhering these pieces to the, so you want the score to be on your left side. So I'm just going to add some glue. And you know what, let's get the silicone craft mat, because I would hate to get some glue on my new mat. That would just be awful. So let's do that. Let's add some glue. And you can use whatever adhesive you want. I do suggest using a stronger adhesive, such as the liquid glue. Seal Plus will also work well, as will tear and tape. So just pick your favorite. So I'm just going to line this up right to that edge, just making sure that it lines up. I'm going to hold it there for a second or two, just so it grabs. So like so. And then we'll just keep going. So I put that on the first panel. You can see that. And it doesn't matter which one you start with. Just remember that you want that score line on the left side. So now I'm going to go over, and we're going to put some adhesive on the next one. So as I mentioned, this was very intimidating to me. And I'll tell you, I've been seeing this many, many years now. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. But after watching Connie and Christina, I was like, yeah, I can do that. So hopefully you'll be inspired to try it as well as I was. All right. Sure, that's good. Okay, so far so good, right? I have some glue on my mat, my silicone craft mat. I guess I didn't clean it from the last time. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so we're going to continue putting these little flaps on. And the reason that you want an adhesive that's very sturdy, such as liquid glue, your Seal Plus, or your tear and tape, is because your recipient is going to be like, wow, how'd they do that? So they're just going to keep opening it and just moving those flaps. And wouldn't that be awful if those flaps just fell off? Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. So that's why you want to use something that's very strong. Okay, and we're on to our last one. So, yeah, I really should have cleaned this mat. You know, let me just take a second here to clean this off. Now, if you're not familiar with the silicone craft sheet, it does, this glue just comes right off. You just ball it up like that and take it off. And it won't get stuck on your project. I wasn't too worried about it, though, because we're going to be covering up most of this misty moonlight. Let's brush that off to the side for now. All right, and then let's see. I want to make sure I get the right panel. And then I got this last panel here. And we'll just put that down. So far, so good. You all hanging out with me? Hanging in there with me? I hope so. I hope so. All right, so we're just going to put that right there. And that's the last panel. Hopefully I did this correctly and it works. And honestly, it only took me 2 tries to get it right. So I was pretty proud of myself. So there you go. Pretty cool, right? We've got all our panels on and it works perfectly. Okay, good. So let's start adhering some of our DSP. So each panel, basically the back side of the panel, is going to get the DSP. I am using Peaceful Garden, I think this is called. Designer Series paper. This was such a beautiful paper. I actually bought 2 packs and I'm slowly going through that second pack. So, and I believe it's still available. I believe it's still available because it's a online exclusive, I think. Which, you know, those online exclusives are fantastic because we keep getting new ones every few months, but they stay on longer than, like, say, something in a mini catalog would. All right, so I've put that first one down. Then we're going to go with the next piece. And really the order of these doesn't matter. I do want to caution you though, if you are using directional DSP such as this, you don't want your flowers going upside down. So make sure that how you cut that. Basically, you want to cut this, I think, so that the 4 inches is horizontal, if that makes any sense. Or if you don't want to figure it out, just use non-directional paper. That's always good too. And any paper works, whatever you have on hand. Doesn't have to be this one. You can make it all your own. All right, we are. All right, so there you go. Got the start of our card. Isn't that pretty? I just can't get enough of looking at it and just spinning it around. So I'm going to put my last piece of DSP here, and then we'll do some stamping and I'll decide how those other pieces go. Okay, so you'll put some ephemera on it, or you can stamp your own DSP. All right, so far so good. Perfect. All right, let's put that aside. Let's put the glue up and let's do some stamping. All right, so first I'm going to take this one piece here, and that is cloud cover that I'm using. And I'm going to stamp in cloud cover and secret C. Okay, so let's do the cloud cover first. I am going to put something underneath so that I do not stamp. The one downside about having this mat is that I do have to keep my surface protected, because wouldn't it be awful? I mean, it might wipe off, but I'm not sure, and I'm not taking a chance. So it's best to always be safe than sorry. All right, so I'm going to stamp so this is the, what would be the solid part of the daisy, the leaves. I'm just going to start by stamping this right in the center here. Now, I am using cloud cover, as you know. Cloud cover was not sold by Stampin' Up! Because they were not happy with the way it looked. And it did not stamp up to par. They do sell it, though. You can purchase the stamping spot and just ink it with one of the ink refills. So, but they sold it to the demonstrators if they wanted to buy it. So if we wanted to buy it, we could, and I opted to purchase it. I'm glad I did. I mean, I've been happy with it. I've never had an issue with it, so I don't know. Could just be one that they had the issue with, or I mean, I'm sure they tested a few of them and they took it off because they just weren't happy how it's stamped. One there. I'll put another one on this side here. Okay, all right. That's cloud cover, and then I'm going to do those dots in secret C. I'm running out of space here already. All right, so let's get secret C. I don't remember if I stamped off. Let's see how that looks. No, I think I did do full strength. All right, I'm just going to fill this in. Again, it's very random. Fill in some of that white space. Maybe a little bit more right down here. And I think that's good. All right. And I already treated these with the eraser, the photopolymer eraser. If you watched my short from a few weeks ago, when you get your new photopolymer stamps, just take one of these white erasers, rub it along your stamp, and oh my goodness, it's a game changer. Game changer. It's amazing what it does. All right, so that's one piece we have there. All right, we're done with this. I'm just going to set that aside. Now I have my large image here, my daisy, and I think I'm going to stamp this on the basic white. We know that. The question is, I think I'm going to stamp it in secret C, actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. You could stamp this in Memento Black. That's obviously it's going to work. But I'm going to be a little different and do the secret C. Now I probably should have stamped this first because I'm using the colored pencils. So hopefully this is okay. I'll just stamp this like so. All right. And let me, yeah, just the one. I don't need the second one, right? No. All right, so that's that. And then I want to stamp the leaf image, again in cloud cover. Let me grab this secret C again while we're doing this. All right, so we're going to do the leaf image in cloud cover on this other white piece. And that's where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So let's see. Yes. All right. So we're just going to ink this up. Now I think if you stamped secret C and then stamped off a few times, I think you'll get cloud cover. We're very close to it. Okay. And do I need cloud cover anymore? I don't think so. I think I'm done with that. And then let's do our secret C. Our friends are flowers in the garden of life. Isn't that such a beautiful sentiment? I think it is. All right, so we're just going to stamp that right over that leaf image. I think that looks really pretty like that, right? What do you think? Perfect. And then I'm going to take my secret C and my dots, which I have a little cat hair on. So I'm going to stamp off a couple of times. I'm just going to stamp a couple of them there. See, doesn't that look so much like the secret C? I mean, like the cloud cover? Can you see that? I think it does. I think it does. So if you stamp it once and then stamp off 2 times, you'll get that cloud cover look. So just thought I'd let you know in case you're interested. So secret C. Who knew? Who knew? Well, I guess I knew. And that's why I tried it. All right, let's get some of these stamps out of the way so I know which ones I'm using. Okay, so these are done. And, oh, you know what? I think I have one piece that I'm missing because I want another piece. Yeah, so let me go grab another piece of the cloud cover to go behind this. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I kind of like that because I think there's just too much navy showing. I'm Misty Moonlight. I'll be right back. All right, so I have one here cut up. And let's make sure it's the same size, and it is. Good. I'm just going to take some of these glue pieces off. All right, so I'm going to, let's see. That's the white, that's the white. This goes here. Okay. So let's adhere these, and that'll give it a little more time for this piece here to dry. Normally with the watercolor pencils, you want to use Stays-On ink because you don't want it to be a water-based ink. So, but I get lazy. I get lazy because with Stays-On ink, you have to use a special cleaner for it, and it's just, you know, a little more than I want to be doing. So that's why I take the other way out, which works fine. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. So, okay, so that's that, right? Yep, and then we're going to put this on here, like so. And then we'll adhere that to the other panel. And then we just have to do the color of the image. And again, you could use, since it's a 2-step stamp, you can just use the fill-in pieces for it. But I like the way it looks with the watercolor pencil, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so that's going to go there. And another thing this card doesn't have is dimensionals. Well, truth be told, you can use dimensionals, but I think it's bulky enough, so you probably don't want to make it too bulky. Make sure we're going in the right direction here, which I guess it doesn't matter. Because, well, yes, it does, because our flowers then would be upside down. We don't want upside down flowers. All right, so that is that. Okay, so far so good. Isn't that so cool? So you have to let me know in the comments, did you think it was easy? I mean, I'm thinking it's pretty easy, right? Not bad at all. Okay, so let's just take our pecan pie. Actually, you know what? Let's do that last. let's do that last. All right, so what do I have here? I have my 3 watercolor pencils, and I think these are in the assortment 1. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to start with the lightest one, which is the Daffodil Delight. And I'm just, you know, this is such a small area that I'm not even going to use the blending brush. Blending brush? Blender pen. I always get them confused. Blending brush is the brush that has the soft bristles. The blender pen is what you use to smooth out the lines of the watercolor pencils. I always get those two confused. So, but I'm not going to use it. What I'm going to do is I am going to use my Wink of Stella pen just to add a little shimmer to it. So once I'm done with all this, we'll do that. All right. So I'm going to just speed through this part because you really don't need to watch me coloring all this. Now we're going to do the Old Olive on the leaves. Again, just, you know, kind of just adding a little color here. And of course, if you don't like those lines, then you could certainly use a blender pen. They don't bother me one bit. But using the Wink of Stella pen actually does push the ink around, so there you go. All right, and leaving a little white space is okay. And then we're going to take our early espresso and just finish off the stem. And I kind of like the softness of this. Looks really pretty. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. All right, my Wink of Stella pen is here. All right, so let's make sure this is good. Okay, so I'm just going to brush some on to the Daffodil Delight. See how it pushes out the color? Just kind of smooths it out. Fills in some areas. But I like a little white space, so I'm not going to worry about that. You do want to make sure that you clean it off, though, after each color, especially if you're using it with dark colors first. But I always suggest to go light first and then dark. So there. Let's see if it picks it up in the light. I'm trying to get that. Maybe not. Anyway, it's there. Trust me. All right, let's wipe that off a little. And then we'll do the green. We'll do the early espresso. So, all right, let's get this. And where did I see those here? I kind of colored that with the Old Olive, so I don't know how much it's going to pick up. And that one there, I think that's good. And a little bit there. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to stamp with the pecan pie the center of the flower, which I believe is called a stamen. If there's any flower people out there, let me know if that's correct. All right, so we're just going to stamp that right there in the center, and the photopolymer stamps make it so easy. Beautiful, look at that. I got it perfect. Close that up. All right, so let's put this down. And the card will be done. I'm just going to add a very simple, oh, did I do that wrong? Yeah, you know what? No, you know what? I think I like it that way. Should I put another layer? No, I'm not going to put another layer. I was thinking if I should put another layer of the cloud cover, but I think we'll forego that. Come on, you were working before, now you're going to stop working. A lot of goopy glue on there. There we go. And this is a perfect card for those of us that don't like to write too much, because there's not too much area to write. You have a nice little spot to write the recipient's name and to sign your name, and that'll be perfect. All right, so let's move that down a little bit. All right, so there you go. How pretty is that? I just love it. I think that looks so amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you ever made a card like this before? Like I said, this is my first time. So, all right, so we're going to use our brass brushed butterflies. I'll take this one off. So we'll put one right over here, I think. Nice. This is the one that doesn't have any glue on it now. And then we'll add another one over here, right here. I think that looks beautiful right there, right? Should we put one here? Oh, such decisions. If I put one there, I probably should add two, so I'm not going to put another one. I think maybe I'll add a small one here. And another little one right here. Put that right on this side here. All right. Oops, that moved. That's not where I wanted you to go. I want you to go over here. Come on. Work with me. Talking to the butterflies. Silly girl. Silly girl. All right, so there you go. How cute is that? I still don't like where that is. Here's the random butterfly that's floating around. You know, let's do this. Let's take this off. And we'll add it right up there. I think that looks better there. All right, there you go. How fun is that? Keep spinning and spinning and spinning. I love it. Oh my goodness. I hope the recipient loves it as much as I do. So there you go. And there you go. Friends, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever tried this before. I'd love to know. Maybe it's not new to you. I don't know. I mean, it's not new to me. It's just that I've been so nervous about trying it that, I never did. So if you have any questions about that Join Now offer, it's going to be from February 3rd through March 2nd. So I tell you, take advantage of it. You can always decide later if you want to cancel, or you don't have to do anything. So anyway, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to help you. Friends, thanks so much for watching me, for commenting, and for liking my videos. And be sure to share them with your friends too, because we don't want anybody to miss out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.